navigate the Bermuda Triangle. Okay?
Yay.
This is basically the posterior and the anterior together, okay? Nobody really talks about the space between, okay? It's a great song, but also SCM is mucking up everything for everybody, okay? And everybody's kind of afraid to work it. So we're going to talk about just debunking all of that, feeling really comfortable with all the attachments and everything. I call it the Bermuda Triangle because everybody's is a little different, okay? This is why knowing your bony landmarks is super important. They will never let you down, okay? If you're just going off of like, it feels kind of like, you gotta know the bony landmarks in this area, okay? So that brings us to contraindications. If anybody has any of these, please, please, please share this with the person working with you. If you have any vascular concerns, you just had a blood clot, and I can send all of this slideshow to the group, no problem. If you've had basically any type of venous issues, you've had a clot, you're on a blood thinner, anything like that, you want to basically back off on pressure. No downward pressure should be happening in the cervical spine anyway. So talk about cervical instability. This is also, again, if they've got something going on with their cervical spine, we can't see inside people, right? So we want to err on the side of caution on that. Hypermobility issues. If they can go way past their range of motion, do we need to pass that? No, we don't. In fact, it's starting to become more and more prevalent that people are having these connective tissue disorders. We're taking them way past their range of motion. So if they can go there, that's great, but we don't need that. They just kind of obviously don't need that stretch. And it would be better for us to work the actual connective tissue for them as opposed to stretching the meat of the muscle, okay? Also, lymph node sites and endangered sites. We're going to cover those in depth. Any questions about those so far? Is anybody worried about this area? Okay, I want to get past the worry, okay? Less is more with lymph, okay? All these little green dots on here are little tiny lymph nodes, okay? We know some of the big sites and through the axillary and maybe under the clavicle and underneath here. They actually go all through here. So if anybody's got major swelling, they just got over having a sinus infection or an ear infection, that's all really, really local, okay? So be paying attention to edema. Basically, if it's swollen, we no touchy, okay? No touchy. If you are going to touch, everything we're going to talk about today is about lifting the tissue. This is an area where I don't want to see videos of people doing stuff like this, okay? It's not helpful, it doesn't help anybody, and there's a lot of things that we can muck up. We're going to talk about lifting all of that and trying to help separate some areas through stretch, through connective tissue stuff, and to make sure that we're not hitting endangerment sites. Let's talk about those endangerment sites. So I know we're talking about doing anterior neck and into TMJ today. Most of where we will actually be placing our hands for the lifting of this is in posterior triangle. So what you'll notice on either side of this posterior triangle into the anterior triangle has the anterior border of SCM, and the posterior triangle has the posterior side of it, right? So when you're manipulating SCM, you're in both triangles. You're in the Bermuda Triangle. Walk with me. All right. Any questions so far on this? I know I've covered a ton of information. I'm going to send you these slideshows via the group so you can look at some of these things to get a little bit more in depth. If you're worried about it while we're working, I can leave something up. But for the most part, if there's not a huge muscle where you can grab a wad of something, or there's not a bone directly underneath, just don't touch it if you're not ready. Okay, if you don't know what's going on in here, you're not ready, that's okay. We're going to talk about the biggest things. And if you want to delve further into this, I've got an 8-hour class coming up to do all of this on, and I use heated bamboo on the outside. Okay, so going forward, Does anybody in here have contraindications that we need to know about?
I have Ehlers-Danlos.
Okay, so she's got connective tissue disorder, so we don't want to take her to full range of motion, things like that. Make sure you just check in with somebody. If you don't want to share it with the group, at least please be sharing it with the person working on you. All right, who's going to be my neck demo? We said you two are using this table? You guys got a place to be?
I see a hand back
See a
there.
hand? We've got one in the back. Do you care?
No.
Come on up. All it takes is being brave. Come on down. Tell us your name again.
Ruthie.
Ruthie.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Face up for me.
Like this?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're going to discuss 4 different muscles today and how they basically make up what happens in the Bermuda Triangle, right? So we're going to talk about platysma, SCM, masseter, and temporalis, okay? Basically, everything that makes a little triangle that goes up to this ear portion. Where the mandible and the mastoid process meet as people's forward head posture happens, SCM comes over the mandible, and then they're going, it clicks, it just won't stop clicking, and I can't get it to click. Also, I can't turn my hip. So you're going to start seeing those types. If people have a clicking jaw, check in with SCM, check in with their cervical spine first. That's why I'm including it in this, because there's just too much going on in the cervical region for most people's posture currently, right? We've got this stuff going on. So we're going to work on the building blocks of all of it, okay?